The following program is being brought to you on the Voice America Health and Wellness Channel. For more information about our network and to check our additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit voiceamericahealth.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the following program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.
Loss in our lives takes on many different forms and can be more than just a physical loss. It goes beyond that to include emotional loss, business loss, and loss of personal health. This is Voices for Healing with Cathy Roberts. Today, Cathy and her guests will help you find out that you are not alone in dealing with loss and grief. There are so many different ways to deal with loss. What works for some may not work for others. Together, let's find the solution that you can use. Here's your host, Cathy Roberts.
Welcome, listeners. This is Voices for Healing Talk Radio, and I am your host, Cathy Roberts. We are a little late getting started this morning, but we have an amazing light-filled show planned for you. Today, my guest is Jenny D'Angelo. And before we get into our conversation with Jenny, I want to let our listeners know that this is the final episode of Voices for Healing on Voice America Radio. This has been a truly amazing and wonderful 26-week run, and I have so enjoyed sharing the wisdom of 26 vitality-filled speakers and guests with you. I am taking some time off to prepare for my son's wedding and regroup and discern what is next. I know there's a loyal group of you listening and others who download later on, and I want to stay connected with you during my break. If you've not already connected with me on Facebook and Twitter, you can do so. I will reciprocate, and we can keep in touch. You can also sign up for my mailing list on my website, which is cathyroberts.net, and we can keep our connection going in that way. When you sign up for my mailing list, you will receive a free 5-minute MP3 I recorded called Breathe in Light, which really fits in beautifully with the theme of today's show. This MP3 is designed to offer you support in your inner work. There are a couple of upcoming events that might be of interest to you, and I want to let you know that now. This afternoon, September 8th, 2014, at 1 p.m., I am a featured guest on Sylvia Henderson's live radio show called Idea Success with Sylvia. Our topic is Dancing with Your Shadow, Dealing with Your Inner Naysayers. Sylvia is an idea success coach in the Washington, D.C. area, and she and I will be talking about what to do when inner voices get in the way of your implementation of ideas. The information to access Sylvia's program and listen live or later is on the events page of my website, cathyroberts.net. Also beginning today is the Shift It, Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life online summit, hosted by Kate Crow. I'm a featured speaker at this summit on September 14th. Longtime listeners to Voices for Healing will recognize two of the other speakers, Raphael Kushner and Mark Matusek, as guests with me here on Voices. You will get to hear their wisdom again, as well as that of 20 other dynamic speakers. Register for this amazing summit on my website, also on the events page. And finally, I want to give a shout out to Pathways Magazine, a holistic journal published quarterly and distributed free of charge throughout the Washington, D.C. area. The fall issue is now out. You can pick it up at your local library or natural food store. Pathways is a loyal supporter of this program. And related to Pathways, on Sunday, October 5th, Pathways organization will hold their annual Fall Natural Living Expo in Falls Church, Virginia. This event is filled with services, products, workshops, and experiences to support you living your best life. You won't want to miss it. While you're there, stop by booth 61 and say hello to me and shamanic practitioner and August Voices for Healing guest, Larry Lobianco. At 5 p.m., we will facilitate a workshop we call Create with Your Creator. At this workshop, Larry and I are preparing a one-of-a-kind of experience in which you will have an opportunity to join your creative, playful heart with your spiritual nature. Well, that's a lot of information, but no need to remember all the details. Everything is listed for you on the events page of my website, cathyroberts.net. Now, I'll take a breath and shift into today's program. My guest is Jenny D'Angelo, author of Connect with Your Angels, A Guide for Everyone. Jenny sent me a copy of her book back in May, and yesterday I began reading it through for the third time. Let me tell you about Jenny. Jenny is a healer, poet, and angel scribe. She was adopted as granddaughter, next of kin, by Dori D'Angelo, the Angel Lady of Carmel, in 1983. Before meeting Dori, she was international editor for Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, the one who brought transcendental meditation to the world. She is a published poet and has given presentations in the United States, Switzerland, Denmark, Italy, Norway, the Netherlands, and Sweden. Her life has been dedicated to light, truth, and direct experience. I really love that, Jenny. She receives the words from the angels in humility, knowing them as blessings to be shared. Jenny lives on the California Central Coast, and you can contact her at the following email address: angels, that is the letter O followed by the word angels, at skyhighway.com. Hi, Jenny. I've been looking forward to our conversation for a long time.
Yes, we have been.
Yes. Jenny and I have been talking since, well, it must have been sometime in May that we began talking. And I want to share with you listeners how Jenny came to be on the show. Back in August, not August, the other month that begins with an A, April, one of my guests was Andrew Harvey. And at the end of our conversation off air, Andrew suggested that I contact Jenny because the book she had written, Connect with Your Angels, was something that he thought would be wonderful for our listeners, and he thought it would be great for Jenny to be on the show and allow you to connect with her and the work she does. Well, I had a challenge right away after hearing that because I thought, angels? At the time, I had mostly straight-up psychotherapists and healers on the show, and no one who was talking about angels at that point. And so I was really a bit challenged by this. And I didn't contact Jenny right away, and once while in deep meditation, her name arose to the surface of my brain. And I got to thinking about this some more. So I called Jenny, and I said to her, Andrew suggested I call you. I haven't done it because I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure what I think of all this. And in talking to Jenny, what I realized was that a little backstory is I've been familiar with channeled works for probably 10 years. The works of Jane Roberts, no relation to me that I know of, Abraham Hicks, and now the works of Paul Selig. And so non-physical beings connecting with us and being around us and working in and through us and loving us was definitely a familiar concept to me. For whatever reason, I wasn't thinking of them as angels. And in talking to Jenny a time or two, somehow it clicked together that these beings that I'm comfortable with, invite into my life and live with on a daily basis are, and I was calling non-physical beings, are what Jenny calls angels. So at that point, we decided that this is something we really want to share with our listeners on Voices for Healing. We've covered so many elements and aspects of healing in this 26-week run that we've had, and I certainly did not want to leave out Jenny's work and her work with the angels. So, Jenny, maybe you can pick up and share with us your thoughts as I share the story about how you're here and what you do.
Well, Cathy and all the listeners, I want to thank you for opening your hearts as you have. Cathy, that story is so beautiful. You express the views of so many people who say, well, I don't know about angels, or maybe somebody has angels, or maybe when I was a little child or something. But the idea that you could have like a personal aspect of God that loves you so much, with you all the time, once you really let yourself have that, it's the most extraordinarily beautiful unfolding. And you are a marvelous example. And in a way, I feel like you are the mouthpiece for many, many, many people. And so it gives me a great hopefulness that so many people are even interested to say, well, yes, it could be that I could have an angel, and then what would that be like? And that's what we will talk about.
That's right. As we talked about this, I came across, I don't know whether it was in your book, it might have been in the beginning of your book, the piece about so many people, when asked, say that yes, they believe in angels, they believe that there is that connection, and yet it's not really talked about a whole lot in the mainstream, and it's considered something out there and kind of woo-woo in some sort of way. And yet, there's been much work that you and others have done that is maybe beginning to soften that, change that?
Exactly. People want some feeling of truth and liveliness in their lives. And the angels give us that. And what I think is the marvelous aspect of being alive at this time, the angels have said, you don't even have to use the word angels if you're not comfortable with it. You can say light. You can even say love. You can say blessings. And so that means that it's for everyone, every culture, every race, every orientation of life, every single soul has an angel. And my teacher, Dory, and others now, she used to say, if you're not talking to your angel, it's like your angel is on unemployment. You have this incredible, only loving resource right there. And if you don't establish a little bit of an open connection, then the angel is essentially unemployed. It's such an interesting idea, isn't it?
It is. I think it's really funny to think about it in that way, and to imagine that connection and that desire that the angel has for that connection. And if we're not paying attention to it, everybody's missing something. Jenny, we are at the point where we're ready to take our first break. And before we do, I want to share what author Patricia Vecchione says about Connect with Your Angels. She says, Connect with Your Angels reminds us of the importance of the mystical way and the role it has and can have in our lives. Jenny's book honors the deepest self and the earth herself. I am reminded to receive the light, to trust my mission, to trust having one. Reading the angels' teachings, I feel my sense of calm restored. We're taking a short commercial break. We'll be right back.
Think you've seen everything there is to see in online television? Let us surprise you. Visit voiceamerica.tv today for sports, health, business, and more on demand 24/7.
Cathy Roberts is not only an exceptional radio host, she's an exceptional listener and counselor. Cathy appeals to motivated, high-functioning people to help them improve their health and vitality. Cathy can meet you where you are and help you identify what you want. Visit Cathy's website at www.cathyroberts.net or call her at 301-651-0019. Cathy works with both individuals and couples and specializes in grief and depression counseling. Get to know yourself by working with Cathy. Visit cathyroberts.net or call 301-651-0019. Cathy Roberts offers Circle of Voices teleclasses to help you focus your mind, engage your energy, and awaken your inner guide. Through this experiential and interactive series, you will know yourself more and learn to express yourself authentically in your personal life. Visit Cathy's website at cathyroberts.net to find out about this teleclass series designed to open you to change and engage healing in the fabric of your life. Go to cathyroberts.net or call Cathy at 301-651-0019 for more information.
Now you don't have to stay linked to your desktop or laptop. Take Voice America on the go and listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
You are listening to Voices for Healing with your host, Cathy Roberts. If you have a question or comment for the program, please send an email to Cathy at cathyroberts.net. That's Cathy at cathyroberts.net. Now back to Voices for Healing.
Welcome back to Voices for Healing with Cathy Roberts and guest Jenny D'Angelo. If you missed the first part of the show, I want to let you know that this is the final episode of Voices for Healing on Voice America while I take a break. I'd love to stay in touch with you and welcome you to check out the events page at my website, cathyroberts.net, for ways that we can do just that. Back to our time with Jenny. In the first segment of our program, Jenny was talking about how all of us have a yearning, a hunger for truth and liveliness in our lives. And through our connection with angels, with something greater than us, with personal aspects of the divine, we can have more of just that. And we also talked about my own discomfort initially with talking about angels, and for others who may be in that same place where it's a little squirmy or a little uncomfortable, or maybe some sort of religious background or training has you wondering about that, or your connotations with it don't feel quite right to you. Jenny was talking about how we don't have to use that word. We can use words like light and love and blessing and other elements and aspects that are that divinity, that divine with us. And so maybe you can pick up there, Jenny, and share your thoughts about that.
Well, the real purpose of the angels, if you will, is to have they help us have our dreams come true. So any way that we can come closer to our dreams, fulfilling our mission in line with our whole life purpose, in line with Creator will, the angels are for that. And so if the word angels is feels not so comfortable to say, just say light. Send light. Send light. That's one of the most simple and most profound things that people can do. Send light. When you don't know what to do about a situation, send light. I just put my hand up in the sky and send light. And it takes your mind off of whatever it was that was confusing you and allows you, even in that second, to align with your greater purpose, which is to be of benefit, to be in your truth, to be in your own heart. The angels are there entirely with us for that. How can we have our most truth-living lives? The angels are just our greatest helpers, servers, because they just only love us. And I guess that's really that's what I've learned the most, to be able to have this unconditional love flowing around me, through me, in me, out of the words, into the book, into the world. That's what everybody can have and has access to. The angels just love us, our pure, pure selves.
Jenny's book is full of practices that we can do to bring more light, more love, more blessing into our lives, into the lives of people we love, and into the lives of people we don't know all around the world. And she just shared with you one of the practices that we can do. There are so many things all around the world. And I don't remember when it was, but sometime within the last year, there was a terrible chemical spill in a river in West Virginia that meant, I think, 300,000 people had no drinking water. And I remember feeling that very strongly in my heart and knowing that there wasn't a whole lot I could do except send love and light to everyone who was affected by it in any way. And I love you sharing that practice with us, Jenny.
To tie us into your earlier question, all religious, real traditional teachings, all indigenous people's practices, all have angels. In fact, once when I was talking with Andrew Harvey, we were saying maybe angels is the only commonality in all of the different practices. So if we have been trained away from that, let us come back to the deeper truth that the angels are in everybody's oldest, closest to the truth belief system. There is some peace ambassador of God that is yours, that is for you, each lifetime for you from your first breath. And to access that, all you have to do is say yes, say thank you, say yes, please, angels, come into my life, even if I don't know what that means. Yes, I open my heart to you, and I will listen. I will hear you. I will look out for signs. That my dear Dory used to say, if you did that for 1 week, you would be certain that you were experiencing support, guidance, insight, understanding, compassion, peacefulness, and like heart sanity within yourself.
As Jenny shares that angels are a commonality through all mystical religious practices and indigenous people's practices, what comes to me is in some way we all know this deep inside. And one of the ways, and I'm similar to you, Jenny, in that I'm such a believer in direct experience as my way of knowing truth. And that means that what I know to be true is what I feel to be true from within. And sometimes that goes along with what science and other information is without, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it seems to collide with that. And so really, one of the things that our listeners can practice as we're having our conversation is to listen with their ears and listen with their whole bodies as we talk.
That's beautiful, yes.
Yeah. And as you do that, you can formulate your own sense of your direct experience, which is something that is so key to Jenny and myself. The other thing that I think about as you talk, Jenny, is how people often in childhood have experiences of the divine or that which is greater than them or seems magical or mystical as children. And that can be either supported or negated as they travel through the childhood and adolescent years. And I wonder if you might comment about that and what perhaps you yourself experienced or other people who you've talked to have experienced, that they knew something and then they forgot it. And now part of what they're doing is remembering what they knew.
Oh, that's exactly true. I think most children, I think all infants, most children, up to the age of about 6 or 7, see things and know things and know. And if they have the opportunity to interact, they know that these are true experiences. But most often, at least up until recently, those were made fun of or even worse. So I understand that coming back to the simple feeling that many children maybe have of this sort of lovely presence with me that is my friend and that I can talk to about anything and can feel trusting in a deep way as I grow. I mean, this would be the most wonderful way to grow into adulthood, knowing that you have presences with you that are fully and only for you. And if you were in contact with them, especially in the subtle, perfect, personal ways that these contacts really come in, once you have, how your angel begins to talk to you, or if you feel it as a caress across your shoulder, or the smell of a perfume, or a light flashing, or different kinds of things, you begin to know right away. You know when your angel is with you. I'll say the word angel, but you put in whatever word you like there that suits your ears. When my angels are here, I know it. I mean, they always are, but when I'm when I'm fully talking with them, it's a very specific experience. And part of the lovely joy of opening to the connection is learning how to feel the subtlety of where it is and how you hear it and what is then next. You do one thing and then another. How your own trust grows. It's almost that the more you, in a way, surrender, the more your trust grows and the more your confidence grows that you are not alone. And this is just so tremendous to really have with you all the time.
So, I think of the sometimes mysterious sorts of things that people might experience. I know myself, beginning nearly 30 years ago, I would smell the scent of roses different times of year, sometimes in the winter, sometimes in my laundry room of my house, where there was absolutely no reason to be smelling roses. And that has continued through many, many years. And what I've usually noticed now is I notice that smell when I'm in the middle of what I'll call like a growth spurt. Some kind of growth spurt is going on. And in reading your book, in talking with you, I've come to understand more about the angelic presence that is with me when I'm smelling those roses.
Oh, so beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I guess I say that and share that with our listeners because we can brush things off as, maybe one of my children had rose perfume, or maybe my laundry detergent was rose scented. It wasn't. It was plain Tide. But we can not pay attention, or we may see a flash of light and think, car lights went down the street. And maybe that's what it was. But if that's something that doesn't happen all the time when car lights go down the street, we might think, maybe that was something else. And I think part of what your conversations with me, and your book has done is open me up to looking at what's happening in a broader perspective. And I'm hoping for that, wishing that for our listeners as well. You get to decide for yourself what you think it is. We want to share with you some possibilities that you may or may not have thought of.
That's just so perfect what you're saying, Cathy. And in a way, it helps me introduce one other idea, which may seem impossible, but it is possible, that there's actually a frequency of light and love, and I say angels, in the book. And even though, how can that possibly be? It's true. So when something comes up out of the pages when you read, and that's what, when you were saying how you felt you were able to follow your inner promptings a little more, that's exactly how it happens. You're in touch with the greater flow of the universe, and that's what your angel is exactly for you, for your specific way of learning and unfolding and opening to the greater good that you have come here to be.
One of the parts of the book that jumped out at me the first time I read through it was the part about, I'll quote it for you, and it's the page that Jenny calls Acknowledge and Turn. And she says, let any feeling of doubt or impulses towards criticism be acknowledged and turned. You have the awareness for this. In this way, any day, any hour can be time well spent. Can you share a little bit about your thoughts about that concept of whatever you might be experiencing, acknowledge it and turn it?
So it opens up every day to be a profound day of growth in a car when the stoplight is there, or in a bank waiting in line, or in the grocery store, or in an elevator, and you find yourself going in a thought direction that you know is not useful or beneficial. You don't want to censure yourself. So to say, for me, I say, angels, thank you for helping me now. I have stopped that thought. Now, help me find a way, even if I have to think about this same topic, how can I move into this arena in a more useful and beneficial way for all? The turning is your own consciousness. It's you aware of your own self turning.
Once again, what comes through so often on this show, I think almost every single guest we've had has talked about the importance of awareness in making changes in our lives, and also in living our best life that we can. And so what Jenny's talking about is another of the many practices you've heard on the show of when thoughts enter into your mind that are uncomfortable or harmful to you, negative in some way, judgmental of yourself, rather than try to push that thought away in a battling kind of way or fighting way. You don't have to create a war on your thoughts, but simply be aware of it, look at it, and see it as a gift opportunity to think something different, to think in a different way. And doing that will heal you. We are coming up on our second commercial break. When we come back after this break, I will want Jenny to read from her book to you so you can hear in her own voice what she has to offer through this book. So you're listening to Voices for Healing, and we will be right back after a short break.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
Cathy Roberts offers Circle of Voices teleclasses to help you focus your mind, engage your energy, and awaken your inner guide. Through this experiential and interactive series, you will know yourself more and learn to express yourself authentically in your personal life. Visit Cathy's website at cathyroberts.net to find out about this teleclass series, designed to open you to change and engage healing in the fabric of your life. Go to cathyroberts.net or call Cathy at 301-651-0019 for more information. Cathy Roberts is not only an exceptional radio host, she's an exceptional listener and counselor. Cathy appeals to motivated, high-functioning people to help them improve their health and vitality. Cathy can meet you where you are and help you identify what you want. Visit Cathy's website at www.cathyroberts.net or call her at 301-651-0019. Cathy works with both individuals and couples and specializes in grief and depression counseling. Get to know yourself by working with Cathy. Visit cathyroberts.net or call 301-651-0019.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
You are listening to Voices for Healing with your host, Cathy Roberts. If you have a question or comment for the program, please send an email to Cathy at cathyroberts.net. That's Cathy at cathyroberts.net. Now back to Voices for Healing.
Welcome back, listeners. I want to take a moment as we begin this final segment of the final program of Voices for Healing on Voice America to support my friends and colleagues at the Core Constellation Center in Rockville, Maryland, for their faithful support of me and my work and this program. In a moment, I would like for Jenny to read to you from her book. She said something in the last segment of our program which I want to underline. And I have a feeling that many of my listeners have had this experience that I'm going to describe. And that is, sometimes a book comes your way, and that book may be something that jumps off the shelf at Barnes & Noble. It may be something that someone gives you, or for some other reason, just in your heart, you know you want to have a certain book. And as you read that book, you can feel it changing you, whether it's changing your DNA, changing your vibrational level, changing the energy that flows through you. I've talked to a number of people who have had this experience, so I'm sure many of you listening have also. And what I recognize in Jenny's book, which as I mentioned earlier, I'm reading through for the third time since May, is that the book has this effect on me. And so I'm going to presume that it will have a similar effect on you at the right time. Jenny, before you read from your book, I want to be sure you have a chance to let our listeners know any places that you are going to be in the coming weeks to talk about your book. We have a fair number of listeners in California. I would like for them to know if you're going to be out there in the world where they might be able to see you, meet you, buy your book, get a signing. How can people connect with you in the upcoming weeks and months?
I don't have anything on my immediate schedule. I just had my first launch here, and so the rest of the events are not, I don't have a schedule yet to post, but I am available to talk to people sometimes. A phone conversation can be instructive. I only do personal sessions, really. It's most effective if someone would like to come here to Santa Cruz. then a personal session is a very, very strong experience. But I would be happy to, I guess, send blessings out to everyone so that the small places in your heart that feel something about this really, really feels delicious in your heart, let that part of you receive and let yourself have this book and let yourself have the angels in your life. That's what I really want. That's what I want for everyone. That's what this is all about. That's what Dory and I set about doing, and then so many other things came along, so that now at this, ripening time on the planet, when so much light is coming in, I just wish that, I have to say it differently, the angels are just sending out blessings right now to everyone who is listening, to everyone who will listen, to everyone who feels called to be further in touch with this light material. Those blessings are now going out, and
beautiful.
That's the best thing there is.
Beautiful. Yeah, I can feel it. Well, Jenny, share with us your book. I would love to hear you, and I would love for our listeners to hear what you have written in your own sweet voice.
Well, there's so many beautiful pages. It's an odd thing. My hand was definitely holding the pencil at the bottom of the page, but when I read these things, I'm just so struck. Who wrote this? It's so there's such beauty. It's astounding. This miracle and how it can be reproduced on paper is astounding. So I'm going to read a page because it lets the people feel a little bit how it is. I'm so just honest. I'm a very simple person. I write a question. It's just me talking to my own angels. We're very close, so it's just me, and then they write. And so I would like to read this page for everyone, because even though they're talking to me, they're talking to you. Every you is you.
Beautiful.
So, good morning, my dear angels. Do you have some words for me or for the people today? Thank you. And they say, dear one, they say that to everyone, dear one, it is a time of ever-increasing light on your planet. We watch with happiness and anticipation as the hearts and minds of millions of people change. Sometimes the changes can be quite dramatic. Decisions to join the growing forces of light happen spontaneously. Your young people feel the upsurges in energy and in hope. To all of you, we would say, open to receive. Open to receive us. And then as Jenny said then, are there specific practices we can do to help the incoming light? By your receptivity, you are anchoring light. You assist Gaia in this way to neutralize more of the negativity that has been accumulating for so many thousands of years. Join with us. First thing, as you awaken, invite your angels into your day. Let us help your activities and plans work out more smoothly. We can do this. Pray or send light. If you spend 5 minutes each day sending light, you will lighten your heart and immeasurably bless the lives of others. And watch for signs of change for good. Let this be the greater focus of your attention. Focusing on the problem has never been an effective way of transmuting it. Focus on possibilities. Be clear about your motives by processing everything through your heart. This is your body's truth barometer. Learn to pay attention. Here, we love you so much.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. The summary of what Jenny shared is ask for help. Focus on possibilities, not problems, and process everything through your heart. This book offers much to readers, and perhaps you can share with us, Jenny, more about what your wish is for everyone who is listening and who is beginning to open to possibilities.
This is the most exciting time to be alive. And even if it seems like there is turmoil on the surface, inside of you, every single one, I know every single person that's listening and that is listening to the program archived later, you know inside yourself you're a little bit clearer, you're a little bit stronger. Something is going on that you feel hopeful about. There's a little bit of liveliness in the inside of your being. And that's the flame of your God spark that is always there. So what the angels do, it's like if you were in a campfire and you had a little teeny fire and you brushed it with your, you want to, the angels are fanning up that flame so that your own heart fire can be stronger as your own knowing of your own truth grows. It is happening to everyone inexorably now. You know this inside yourself. There's more light. We are all becoming more light, and the angels are the easiest, closest way to help you be open to this extraordinary experience of being an alive particle of the wholeness of God right now.
Well, we are coming up to the end of our program already, Jenny. And I just want to say how wonderful it has been to have you on this program, and what a powerful voice you are. In your ease, in your simplicity, in your sharing, it's really been a delight to share you with my listeners. Thank you.
I thank you so much. Bless everyone.
Hang on, Jenny. I'll speak with you after the show.
Yes.
And our amazing and wonderful 26-week run is coming to an end. I want to thank all the staff at Voice America for supporting the show. Robert, my producer, Brad, and the team of engineers are those I've had the most contact with. Thank you, Michael, for being here today. And thank you all. Listeners, I especially appreciate your constancy in tuning in to this program. And as we say goodbye for now and until our next connection, transform your life, embrace vitality, And may all the love you've ever known be purified by the diamond fire that lies within your heart. Thank you for listening to Voices for Healing with Cathy Roberts.
Thank you for listening to Voices for Healing. Please join Cathy Roberts again next Monday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Health and Wellness Channel. We wish you the best recovery from your loss, and we'll talk again next week.